This is a video on how to refill your Chameleon Color Tones pen. And there are 20 different colors right now in the Chameleon Color Tones line, so we actually have 20 different ink refill kits, and it'll tell you what color it is on the front of the kit. We also have one of these for the colorless toning medium, and the colorless toning medium refills the mixing chamber as well as your colorless blender pen. So you'll see that when you look on the website. We have 20 of the colored kits, and then we have one of the colorless toning medium. Okay, so inside your ink refill kit, here's what you're going to get. You get this wonderful inkwell bottle, and I like this because the inkwell design of the bottle is like an inkwell. It's flat, low profile, this way it won't knock over when you're wanting to refill. And it does have a little stopper in the top, I'll show you that. You also get the ink injector, and each kit comes with its own ink injector, which is really great because that means you don't have to clean it out in between changing up different colors as well. For long-term storage, I do suggest giving it a flush through with some alcohol, but you know, for switching it, you don't have to worry about switching between colors because each one comes with its own little ink injector. So you can actually work right inside the box. Okay, so it's always important that you keep your surface covered, you know, what you're working on, because remember we are working with a permanent ink, and just give it a good shake so you make sure that you're mixing the ink up well. And I highly suggest that too. Have some spare paper towels beside you, and that way, and maybe even some rubbing alcohol if you want to do some extra cleanup. So all I'm going to do is just take this and put together my little ink injector, and it's that simple. Now, the best way to fill your Chameleon Color Tone pen is to go from the bullet nib, because a bullet nib is a pretty durable nib. We do have a great set of tweezers you can get, but if you don't have these, you could probably use any standard tweezer you've got. These work particularly good for taking out the mixing nib in the inside of the mixing chamber of the Chameleon pen, because it fits down nice and it cups and pulls it out. So just a suggestion, you may want to look into those. So when it comes to refilling this, it's quite simple. All I'm going to do is pull out, and I really suggest not pulling more than about a gram or a milliliter of ink at a time. So I'm going to do that now and just reach in there and just pull out just about a gram of ink. And you can see that by the measurement, it'll come right up to the gram line. These have a lot of ink in them, and the one thing you want to remember is not only is there ink in the pen, but there's ink in the mixing chamber. So when you're coloring, you're actually pulling from both sources. So you're going to get, your ink will last a long, long time, essentially is what's happening. So I'm just going to take the ink injector, and it's a blunt needle, so you don't have to worry about that. And I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to slide it down inside. Now I can feel a little bit of a resistance there. That means I've hit the transorb that's inside. That's the mother that holds all the ink. So I'm just going to slowly give that a light pressure on the plunger. And again, we don't advise filling more than a gram at a time, just because there's a lot of ink in these pens. And just as I'm pressing it down, just mind it, keep an eye on it, and make sure that it's not overfilling. And that looks about good. So really one gram at a time is all you need. And then just picking back up your nib and just putting it back in. And this, you just want to lightly give it a press, a shove down, so it goes back and the nib is seated properly for you inside of there. Again, we suggest you're using the bullet nib rather than the brush nib because it's a little bit more durable. And I'm just going to give this one more little push so it's seated properly. So now I've refilled my inks, and it should function just fine. You just give it a color. You may want, if it's extremely dry, maybe turn it upside down and let the inks sort of fill back into the nib. But that's as easy as it is.